Hello everyone, especially to Totes. This video is requested by Totes Melodis, and so in this video I'd like to make a review on the knife that I designed. Uh, it is not made by me, but I have my hand put into it. So this is a tactical style blade. It is called Ermac or Ermac in Russian. Uh, it has a chisel grind, so this side is completely flat with a little grind to the point, and this side has one and two bevels, which come to a really fine edge, so it is very thin behind the edge. It is 4 millimeters thick, and it has micarta scaled handles, which meant to be disassemblable. Disassemblable. I don't know how to say it correctly in English, but pardon me. Uh, which is contoured in a way like a Greek kopis or Colsios, if you know that knife. So it is very comfortable in the hand. It is, as far as I know it's called contoured. So it is thinner here and is thicker there, so it feels the hand uh, in a good way. So it has a complete stop here and complete stop here, so your hand will not go anywhere when you cut or stab when you cut or stab something. And it has a very unique shaped point or tip. You know, uh, it is kind of it kind of looks similar to the American Tanto, which I have here, represented by the Cold Steel's Recon Tanto. But the difference is that American Tanto has that thick, thick point, which is very rigid and stiff and will not go anywhere if you stab something hard or something that is hard, like wood or plywood or something like that, maybe even concrete and bone and that kind of stuff. So the purpose of the American Tanto is to make the point uh, really, really tough, and so it makes sense in that way. Whereas this knife, it doesn't have that. If you look at the point in that way, this point is really, really acute, and it makes it so the knife, which is this wide, it has double edges like a semi dagger. It makes it penetrate objects not as good as the thinner knives, but it penetrates just okay, even though it creates a lot larger wound canal. In this thing is I believe it's 4 centimeters, or two, almost 2 inches. One and 2/3 of an inch. I'm not good in the not metric system. The system that used in US. So this edge is also sharpened, and it is sharpened on the both sides of the point. So this makes it for a good fighting knife. It was designed that way, so you can hold it very tight, very secure, and smash something or someone hard with it. And it has like a secondary point on both sides, but this one is probably used more in the flick cuts, flick of the with the flick of the wrist, and this one used in the primary cuts uh, with the blade. And uh, this one is also is useful. And it's all this is hypothetical situations, but this one might be useful when you stab someone and try to retract the blade away from your opponent, and he grabs you with his hand, and so you can cut him with your knife, not trying to reverse it to yourself, but having the secondary edge and the second secondary point, to cut him with that, so you can defend yourself, uh, not making this movement awkward, Uh, and so this made out of high-speed steel, Korean high-speed steel. I don't know the components of this, but I believe it's a high carbon, high tungsten, high vanadium, and molybdenum. So it is a tough steel, which can hold a thin edge, and it has a thin edge, But the second thing in mind that I had when I was designing it is that every tactical knife has to be a good utilitarian knife, because if a tactical knife doesn't have utility purposes and uses, then it's useless, because you cannot carry it around, because you have, for the self-defense, you have guns and batons and pepper sprays and all that kind of stuff that is uh, almost in every way is more effective than a knife in defense. But when it comes to using knife, it has to be more multi-purpose, because otherwise it is a dead weight that you carry around with you, that is not comfortable, that is not making you feel more secure, because it's clunky and big and wide and all that stuff. So it has a edge that is lower than the level of the handle, so you can cut something that is laying on the flat surface like a table, or the cutting board. And so it has a flat, almost straight edge, which has a little bit upward curve. So if you cut the blade here, it will make for a Japanese sentoku, in the shape wise. So it is not that thick; it's 4 millimeters thick, so it makes for a good cutter. And you chop, your vegetables, the meat, and all that kind of stuff very comfortably with it. Uh, and I believe there was a question which finish type it has, and so this is like a uh, acid etching, which were polished uh, when the knife was etched. So I believe the maker put on pieces of sticky paper to it, different pieces to it, and then dip it into the acid, and then when it came out, he just polished it out, so it has that kind of look with the uh, air pockets. So when you cut something, it will not stick to the blade because it has air. If that makes sense. I know I'm not perfect in English in any way, but I believe you can understand the point that I'm making. So, um, answering the questions, if this thing is effective, I believe yes, but also not as effective in thrusting as just thinner knives. But it is effective when we come to measuring the wound canal because it creates fucking huge wound canal, which is a massive damage and can cut internal organs and just make a human into a meat patty in a few seconds, which is dead meat, Uh, is that comfortable to carry around? Yes, with the composite sheet that I made for it, which I showed in the last video. It is comfortable to carry around. Uh, the handle is comfortable. Just everything all around is okay with this knife, but at the time I had, all that thoughts in mind that I made real in this knife, but now I'm thinking in a more, in a different direction, and I will show the knives that I'm making for, for last year that I made in the last year that are very different to this one. That they have very neutral handles, very neutral blade shapes, and all that kind of stuff. So it is a good knife. I'm proud that I designed it, and it is good in so many ways, so many different ways. But now I'm thinking of something different. So this is one just a piece of history. I don't think I will. Uh, Maybe somewhere in the future I will make a different version of this, but that was just a piece of history. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'd like to answer something that you asked me in the comments. And have a good one. Bye.